What is a leader's greatest tool? Talk to me. What is a leader's greatest tool? What do you think?
Their ears.
Their ears. Very, very good. Confidence. Now, I just want to share with you this picture. Yes, I took it at West Boulevard. I do want to share with you that, yes, that's the city I'm proud of, and that is how I vision Cleveland, Ohio. This is what I choose in my mind, as Nancy was talking about mindset. This is how I choose to see Cleveland. But my clients in the South, the day that I posted this on Facebook, they wrote, "Honey, where are you? Are you going to go surfing today? That looks fun." And I said, "Guys, this is Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know where they thought it was." But you know, they see Cleveland very differently than you and I do. They see Cleveland as it's very cold, and we have big snow mounds that turn black, and people are all mad and cold. Well, this is how I choose to see Cleveland. That's what leaders must do. We have to have a vision. We have to have the mindset for success. You know, Nancy spent time talking about what Paul and I believe, and so many others believe, like us, and that is that you choose that mindset. And your brain is a powerful engine, friends. You got to learn to drive it. And I can tell you, I didn't drive it the right way for a very long time. So vision to me is setting the mindset of what you want to happen. But we know we can't get anywhere without what I call the campaign. Now, the campaign is motivation. But what do I mean by campaign? You probably think political, correct? Well, I have Daniel Graves in the back. Will you wave? This gentleman right here is a college student, saw a vision. He doesn't think it's okay that people are poor. He has a push for poverty. He's done a video. He's at Cleveland State. He as well has had Channel 3 interview him. As a young man, he made it his campaign and took action and said, "I'm going to ask my fellow college students, who always say they don't have money, but they got food," and they went door to door and helped people. Congratulations, Daniel. A campaign is born through a vision. So I'm going to ask you tonight, what is your campaign as a leader? Some CEOs, and I success coach CEOs, I have a marketing company. I can tell you one of the biggest problems isn't people's marketing. One of the biggest problems is respect. Respect for people in the workplace, respect for the vision. When you have a campaign, you have a goal. Some CEOs, their campaign is to get training for their employees. But as leaders, talk to me. I've got some great leaders in the room. What's your campaign? Remember, your vision is how you see the world. What's your campaign? What's your action? Talk to me. Anybody? Campaign? Well, let me tell you, for me, this is our company campaign, America's Respect Revolution. I vision that we live in a world of respect. Respect of ourselves and respect of each other. Pretty lofty vision, right? This isn't a nonprofit. I want to rebrand America with respect. Meaning that what Jennifer and Anna create, people wear. You know, I have a bracelet on that says Ignite Your Revolution, which is the name of my next book. Jennifer made this for me. And it's about the respect of personal branding. When I wear something and I look at it, it reminds me, doesn't it? When we wear something, it reminds us. We take action. It's just like you as a leader. So shout it out. What's your campaign tonight? You came to hear about leadership, but what's your action? What's your campaign? And if you're not sure, write it down. And if you want to text me at 3 in the morning, I'll take a look at it, because I want to know what's your campaign. It's great to have a vision, but what action are you taking? Without a campaign, it means nothing. So I want to tell you just some things from the field. I'm working with major corporations to startups and everything in between. I don't believe in saying no. Now you're going to say, really? How does that work for you, Katherine? Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes no costs you. We had a client who, previous to working with us, had a sponsor, a $250,000 sponsor, $250,000. Here's the story. They said no because the sponsor had asked them for something from their program department. Now, the program department knew they were a sponsor, but you know, this is very public record. They talk about it, and now the company uses it in trainings, because here's what happens. I think it was about $25 that would have had to been spent, and they said no. $25 to lose $250,000. Really? Are you kidding me? So what I'm saying to you is that when your employees come to you and they want something, if you press the no button, which some people have them on their desk, and I have a good friend who has one, it's just funny. But if we really say no and we shut people down, they're not coming back. And a lot of times in the corporate scandals, it's said that the employee felt uncomfortable coming to their boss. So what do? I still say no, but I say it in a different way. And let me explain. It's the win-win policy. I'm an entrepreneur. I have to look at crisis and problems and turn it into something. That's my job. That's what Bob just shared that he did. That's how you keep your business going in tough times. But I can also tell something from body language. I can tell from body language that there's a real problem. There's a core of a real problem in all of us. And if we were honest and authentic, we'd admit it. I had to admit it. I had to look at America's Respect Revolution and keep saying, how am I going to do this? And the day in Connecticut, when the elementary school kids were shot, I thought, Katherine, you got to get off your butt and do something. Stop talking about it and do something. You see what I'm saying? See, it's not a no. It's a win-win. How do you make it happen? It happens with great things like alliances. So I'm just going to tell you right now, the advice I take for you tonight is, stop saying no. Make it work. Make it a win-win. If you're really going to be a leader, and yes, I do ask you to write these down. That's why I only gave you part of the word. This is the ultimate in customer service. We do customer service training, and people will say to me, but this customer was irate, and what do I do about it? And this person's coming to me, and they're screaming, and they're upset. And I say the following: evaluate. Look at this person. You know, it's really sad, and we work with a lot of corporations. It's really sad that there's a set thing that you have to say when a customer comes in. Welcome to so-and-so. It's really good to see you. Thank you for being here today. Well, if the person comes up crying and they're upset, and you say, really good to see you today. Do you see why it doesn't work? So you've got to evaluate what's happening with this person. Read the body language. So evaluate's number one. Ask them, what do they want to happen? Friends, you might be so surprised what they really want. It may not be anything big, but to them it means the world. So ask them, what do they want? How can we correct this situation? And appreciative inquiry changed my life. Instead of saying to someone, hey, your numbers are down, things are not good. Why? What's happening with you? That's very different than saying, do you remember when you did that project and it went so well and it was a great time for both the company and you? Take the person to a place of dream, discover, and do. Change the dialogue. Remember how we talked about driving the engine? You change the mindset when you use appreciative inquiry. So the old school customer service, here's how you answer this question, here's how you answer this question. Well, friends, I don't know about you, but I've had people come up to me. I meet people, I travel. I meet people in certain situations where you better evaluate. Ask them what they want, appreciative inquiry, and then respond. What do we tend to do? We tend to react. And I learned from Paul Mashenko, my friend, that one of the things about our brain is fascinating, is that our brain can really help us and protect us. But reaction sometimes adds more fuel to the fire. Is that a fair statement? Can I get amen on that? Come on, we're not all perfect. At least come on. All right, here we go. So here's the story that I want to share with you. I want you to consider something different. It's great to be a leader, and it's great to have vision and to go with a campaign, and I advocate this. But something that I need you to know that changed my life was a book called The Inner Game of Tennis. Raise your hand if you've read it. The Inner Game of Tennis has nothing to do with tennis. It has to do with you seeing what you want in your mind. So visualizing, hitting the ball over the net, hitting the ball over the net. No matter what you're doing, seeing yourself successful, seeing yourself the way you want to be seen, and how you want your life professionally and personally. Well, here's the story. I found something in my MBA program called Team Charters. And Team Charters changed everything. Because, back in the day when I was younger, I was a great leader, but I walked into a lot of places saying, hey, I got a plan, and here's what's going to go on, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And everybody looked at me like, whoa, who is this girl? She needs to calm down. She's got a little too much energy. Well, now what I do is I look at the team, and I ask, and we create a vision together. So I want to share with you, I have accountability partners. Do you? Raise your hand if you do. These are people in your life who call you on your BS. Sorry, but they do. They call you on it and say, hey, I think you should do this. I have a challenge mentor. Man, he is hard on me. It is not easy. He's like, Katherine, you should be doing this, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. It's not easy, but I'll tell you, it makes me stronger, it makes me better. Accountability for every part of my life, as a mom, as a wife. Think about it. Accountability partner helps you grow. And finding those people that challenge you, not enable you, there's a big difference, right? And then expectation. And I'm just going to prove it to you guys, because here's what I see. I see a lot of people who say to me, so I'm just going to take you back in time. I want you to think about the best date you've ever been on. The best date ever. So help me out. When should you get a phone call or give a phone call after the best date of your life? Talk to me. What's appropriate? What's the rule? Next day? If you're going on a date, best day of your life?
I think right after.
Yeah, okay. And day after? Next day? What else? Come on. Come on. Best day of your life. You know what's crazy?
When you're on the date?
When you're on the date. I went on the best date of my life, went to see Elton John, went with this guy I was friends with, Craig Miracle. Elton John, I would have went with anybody at Elton John. Seriously. I mean, come on, it's Elton John. We just went as friends. I had the best date of my life. Craig Miracle called me 5 days later. You know why? Because that was the guy rule. That's what his fraternity brothers told me to do. Well, on Thursday night, friends, I was out on a date with somebody else. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't wait around. Because I thought, wow, I just had the best day of my life. You know, I expected that night or the next day. My husband was told the 5-day rule. Now, my name's Miracle, so it all worked out. But do you guys see what we do? It's the same thing personally and professionally we do every day. We have expectations of people. We think they should do certain things, but we don't share it. And then when we don't, we give them a pink slip in our minds. We judge them. That needs to stop. That needs to change, because respect isn't about pink slips. Here's what I say. Sometimes the goals don't happen, but are you resilient? Look at what Bob said to you tonight. Picking yourself back up. You know, it's funny because when I coach, there's a quote that I wrote, and it says, "My shattered life, I wanted someone else to pick up the pieces, but I had to pick up the pieces." That's the only way I would learn and grow. So that's leadership, friends. It's not easy every day, is it? So here's what I want to talk to you about. First, we work in groups. But what we do is we say, well, you're good at this, you're going to do this. You're good at this, you're going to do this. Oh, and you're good at this, you're going to do this. Why don't we ask people? You know, I have a fundraising and marketing background. Everybody wants me on the fundraising committee because they know I'm good at raising money. I don't want to be on the fundraising committee. I've done that my whole life, you see? So we got to ask people, what do they want to work on? So the next time you sit down with a team, I want you to ask them, what do they want to do? Even your coworkers. Then I want you to build together a team charter. Now this is an example of a SMART goal, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. Here's the example. You can look at my screen. When we're in business, these are the things that we do, but they need to be set together. Instead of saying, well, here's your goal for this year. Have fun with that. We build it together. We build a vision. Very specific and measurable. Why? Anybody use these? I know Michael and Chris. They were an MBA program. You have to use them because here's what we do in companies sometimes and in personal life. Oh, we're going to do this year. When? October? July? December? There's a big difference. Then what we do is we go into actions. Take a look. I set a vision on screen for you, and it was a goal. Look at the things that need to happen beforehand, the pre-work that goes into it. Now, something I want you to do, because Bob asked you, he said, would you please work smarter, not harder? And I believe that as well. How many of you know the rule of 3? Raise your hand. This is so good. This makes life easier. Here's why. The rule of 3 says that I will ask 3 people to make a phone call for me. So let's say I want an account. I would have Craig, I would have Fred, and I would have Doug make a phone call or send a text or send an email. Nice, huh? I go in and ask for it. They already know who I am. How great is that? So what I'm saying to each of us, why don't we do that? Even if we had one person pick up the phone for us, we would be better off. Fair? All right, so rule of 3. Now, let me share with you that these are actions. These are actions to get to the goal. But here's where problems happen. Why I get the phone call that marketing is messed up. I get the phone call that says our marketing's messed up, but here's the real problem. Take a look. It's behaviors. Teams who are fighting. People who are not speaking with respect to each other. They're not listening. People leave a meeting and say, gosh, Susie seemed weird. I think she was mad at me. And then I send the email around. And 4 hours later, I'm still thinking about it. I go to bed and it's still bothering me. Do you see why that's a problem? No more lingering questions. And how many of you know what a 3 to 5 is? If you've ever had a boss that was over you, raise your hand. Micromanager boss, did you love it? Yeah. Not fun. 3 to 5, what is that? It takes you 5 minutes to write it, takes them 3 minutes to read it. You send it about the same time every week. So you know what? They're not looking for you. They're not looking over your shoulder because you're updating them. I have to think like my clients. If they're wondering about something, they shouldn't be. It's my job to update them so that way they know what's going on. They should never wonder. A 3 to 5 does that. Because I don't know about you guys, how many of you like getting a 16-paragraph email? Raise your hand. What do? Save that one for later. And then all of a sudden it goes away. You didn't read it. Or you didn't read it clearly. So 3 to 5. It keeps it quick and clear. These are behaviors. Now, here's some other ones. Here's an earth-shattering thing. You are aware that disagreement's natural. But we're always told we shouldn't disagree. But hang on for a second. That's natural. But here's our other problem. Judgmental comments. Friends, with America's Respect Revolution, we're able, when people invest in us, to send people into schools. I was in a school this week. Do you know what a girl told me? She told me a girl came up to her when she was 14 years old, and her best friend, she thought, comes up and says, "You don't wear Hollister. I can't be your friend anymore." That student stayed in the bathroom during all of the recreation time and lunchtime, didn't have anybody to sit with. Nobody would talk to her. You don't think it happens in corporate? It does. Because guess where it comes from? It comes from judgmental comments not based on fact. So when we build a team charter, this changes because then we live in quality. So you've seen most of the team charter, but I didn't tell you about deadlines. Of course we have to have them. But do you see how as a team we're building it together instead of me coming in and just giving my vision? But here's the fun one. Consequences. Now, I didn't get this out of grad school, so you guys know this is our own. I think consequences should be fun. If you don't get something done, you buy pizza for everybody on the team. If you don't get something done, you buy Starbucks for everybody. Now, how many of you work with a slacker? You ever work with a slacker? Oh, are you a slacker? Oh, okay, I didn't think I'd see it again. All right. The slackers get busted. Do you want to know why? Because they can't live through a team charter. They can't get away with that stuff. HR people love this. And here's why. Because the team self-manages itself and people aren't running to HR all the time. Make sense? So all I'll share with you is this. You got to understand that we've got to have commitment. We've got to have signatures. We've got to have people buy in. Tonight, I'm going to give you a sheet that you can use and begin. You can always email me, call me, and I'll help you with this. But this changes the workplace. And it's fun. So let's talk about you, because that's a lot of fun. Appreciative inquiry. How many of you have used it honestly? Raise your hand. The tool that changes everything. People have causes of problems. We've got to get to the core. Am I asking you to be someone's psychologist? No. I'm asking you to identify it soon, though. Because when you work with someone and there's a core of a problem, you can't move forward. So let me just say to you, think about the last relationship you were in that broke off. What is missing and what was missing from my list? These are the 6 needs, according to Tony Robbins. What was missing? Maybe you were contributing 250% and they were contributing 10. Okay, who's been there? Who's been that person? Okay, me too. Raise your hand. Come on. You gave 250%, the person gave 10. Thank you. All right, I'm not the only one. But this is why relationships break. And I want to tell you something. The word request. We have a client who unfortunately told us that this had happened in their company. And they asked me to share it without their name. There's divisions, and there's a corporate. Well, the divisions wanted things. There were 2 people that started at the same time. Let's call one Jackie, and let's call one Susie. Susie would get to the corporate about 3 hours early, run around, say hi to everybody, get to know everybody, find out how they were doing. She would make requests. Jackie sat in her office, got to the corporate about 5 minutes before, and made requests. Who got what they wanted? Why? But didn't both of them deserve it? They were both running a division. So explain to me why. Talk to me.
Because Susan made people feel important, like it mattered.
Very good. Good work, my friends. All right, so now you see it. Are you making requests or building relationships? That's leadership. Know the difference. Now, let me share with you. This is eye-opening. It was for me. How many of you know your greatest strength? It's something you're really good at. Come on. You know your greatest strength. Raise your hand. Earth-shattering. Did you know it's your greatest weakness? Scary, huh? So people perceive me as very friendly and very giving. What's the great weakness on that side? Can anybody tell me? You do too much. People take advantage. I do too much. Right. So we all have to be accountable. Leadership means being accountable. What is something that you do that is a great strength, but it also manifests as a great weakness? We've got to be accountable or we can't grow as leaders. Now, this is my fun one. They should actually change it to blonde hair on this picture, because at 3 in the morning, it's the thing that I need to dump it, delegate it, or do it. It's the thing that's keeping you up. You can't move forward with your leadership until you figure that out. For me, it was a tragedy that happened, and I'm not going to lie to you. It took me a long time to realize why I was holding myself back and not doing some of the things that I was meant to do. So for me, I have to shout it out. Now, I don't do that when my husband's sleeping next to me. I get up and go nothing. But I literally, at 3 in the morning, if it's bugging me, I'm not sleeping, I get up and I shout it out. And then I do this. I draw a paper, just like you see, and I put the problem in the middle. And I come up with all the options around it, and I do some really creative ones too, like stuff you would never believe. I literally put down everything. Usually what I'll do is choose 3 of them and create my optimal solution. From now on, friends, don't just go up to someone and say, what should I do, and take that piece of advice. Think it through, especially as a leader. There can be costs on either side and consequences on either side. This I love because it comes back to me and how I used to set goals. I used to set goals as a leader like this. Here's what I want to have happen. Here's the action steps. Here's the resources. Good stuff, right? But you know what I didn't think about? What's the motivation? Did you ever want something that wasn't good for you? Oh, I'm only like, come on, you guys. But here's the story. I wasn't thinking in 2010, my husband's friend needed a kidney. And I'm like, oh my God, I've always wanted to save somebody's life. It's #1 on my bucket list. I'm going to give him my kidney. I know I'm going to be a match. I was 1 point away from his sister, ready to go. Until my own brother had kidney problems and almost died. And then recently he was also sick. What was I thinking? I didn't even think about my brothers, who both may need my kidney because of medical history. What was I thinking? My motivation was wrong, you see? So sometimes we have to step back and say, why is this important? That's our secret weapon. Why is this goal important? Why are we doing it? Why does it matter? We've got to think those things. And then let me just say to you, I believe these are the only things that a leader can make it. You got to ask for help. You know, we were told that leaders don't ask for help. Toughen up your lip. You'll get it done. The other part is balance. If you don't take care of you, you're in trouble. You know, I fly a lot, and I have to tell you, they always say you're supposed to put the mask on yourself first. Do you guys know why? But if there's a little kid next to me, I think just want to give it, you see what I'm saying? But you can't do that. You got to take care of you and be stronger, right? So that's truly what the 3 secrets are for leaders. Now, I want to just end with a story about a client, and I know some of you who have heard me speak before know it, but it's a powerful story. We have a client named Anna, and Anna was 17 years old working in a business that basically, it looked something like this. People came up and said, I'll take $10 on pump number 1. They took off. You would not go to the bathroom in this place. No way. Anna's 17. She thought it'd be kind of nice if maybe she brought in bananas, you know, and sold different things. It kind of made things look pretty, you know. And this guy takes the banana, peels it, eats it, drops it on the floor, and walks out. And you know what Anna says? No more. Anna says, no. Anna lives to what we teach our clients, her personal brand. Now, it worked well with the company's brand, and they okayed it. She cleaned everything. No more greasy floors. Everything nice. Customers started coming in more. Customers started behaving themselves and not throwing bananas on the floor. People were coming in. You know what corporate thought? Oh, Anna's store's doing well because it's in a bad neighborhood and all the rich people have to drive through. Why was Anna's store doing well? Talk to me. Her brand was what she was living to. She had self-respect. She changed the company's brand. Now a successful company. She's vice president of the company at 47 years old. Now these pictures are my flowers to Anna. This picture I took for Anna. Because where this picture was taken, these irises are between a KFC and a crack house in Cleveland. Okay? So you can't see that, can you? So you see what Anna did? Her leadership at 17 years old in the company changed the company. She put beauty in where ugliness was. It wasn't what people expected. And sometimes things aren't what you expect, even from yourself. So if you want to create beauty, think about value. I agree with Einstein. It's not about success. It's about value. And that's who true leaders are. Thank you so much.